Hello and share beautiful people of Facebook, and how are you? Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, whatever. How are you doing? I am not dead. I have just received my first job ever in the Tiberian Public Library, so now I'm a librarian. So kudos to me. I'm extremely happy to service the people here, like in Tiberias, and make the place better, and being able to give information to the public, to make it accessible and available. It makes me extremely happy. And today I would like to talk about a specific condition formula that is being used in Hoodoo, and I haven't seen it discussed or used lately at all, and that keeps me wondering why. I would like to discuss the formula of easy life condition formula. Now, before we start talking about this, I want to talk a little bit about condition formulas. What's going on is Hoodoo is basically a mix of, oh my god, it's so hot here in Tiberias. It's 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 42 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine everything to be so hot? It's like I'm running my air conditioner and it's so hot. I'm sorry, I'm tying my hair, I'm melting here. Anywho, what's going on with condition formulas? They are basically a staple of Hoodoo. They are basically formulas that contain between 3 and 4 ingredients, even though one formula ingredients is out there. And those are like accepted things that are used to a specific goal. And the reason why, unlike Wicca reclaiming in other traditions, the formulas are set is because that in Hoodoo there is a big belief that plants and other ingredients has their own magic power. Their own magic power that comes from that plant. And we can, by our connection to the divine, ask that power to be directed somewhere, but just possessing that herb would give you that magical power that herb does. You have a herb for protection, even if you are not a witch. The fact that you can pray, the fact that you are a child of humans that could pray, would give you the ability to charge it with your intent for magical power. And you can agree or disagree, but different conditions are translated to different herbs, and those herbs are used to be making gree-gree, mojo bags, or moyo bags, depending on where you are talking about it. Wanga. It's very region oriented how you call those little talismans and amulets that you're using. And the magic tradition is basically a very practical mix of Native American magic, African magic, especially from Congo, some Asian magic like Chinese magic, Indian magic. You see a lot of ingredients from the East. For instance, Japanese wash contains lemongrass that didn't used to grow in the US, some Hebrew Kabbalah, and some high ritual magic. For instance, you can find a lot, some people would be using grimoires, especially the 7th and 8th grimoire of Moses in this. So, but with me, I'm not a monotheist. I did not take any of the Kabbalist part of it. Well, I learned it and I give it to my friends that are monotheists, so it will be an easier swallow. It will be easier for them to swallow that sort of magic. But for myself, I don't use that much. I just use a lot of the herbal stuff and the condition formulas. Now, there are many sources where those condition formulas were written down. And some of the important sources are the Denise Alvarado Hoodoo Voodoo Spellbook. It's one of the contemporary and important ones. The Targus Felix the Conjure Cookbook. In most of the US, by the way, Hoodoo is called Conjure. Only in Louisiana it's called Hoodoo, but today, in order to really differentiate it from other type of spell cuts, it's like everywhere I'm talking about Hoodoo. And of course, the classic, and everybody will tell you it's the classic, if problematic source of Herman Slater, which, by the way, was a Minoan brotherhood, which is a stream of Wicca, but he had his own shop, The Magical Child, The Magical Formulary. Now, when you're hearing about a condition formula, some of it are very famous, like hot food powder, like hot food powder, firewall of protection, essence of bend over, etc., etc. you will most likely encounter a basic recipe in one of those 3 books I mentioned. By the way, before you ask, I'm not showing you a book here that I do not recommend for usage. All the books that I have here, I highly recommend that you will have a copy, especially if you're interested in the herbal side of Hoodoo witchcraft. Okay, so that condition formula, it's called Easy Life. What does it do? Well, for that, I'm reading from the Anna River book, Golden Secrets of Mystic Oil. Now, while Anna River's writing is usable, the company that makes the oil, in my opinion, do not. They are basically just colored powders that has no powders and oils that has no herbs in them. Make your own. If it's possible enough, make your to gather the ingredients, make your own. Those are usually like 4. Originally, the source was like 4 ingredients recipes. There's the internet, you can order stuff online today, and even if you need to make them your own, you still make your own. Or if you cannot get your own, go to a sorcerer that makes them themselves, that you see the herbs floating in them, or else you will just get like colored perfumed oil that does nothing. Especially with Hoodoo, the power is in the herbs. So what does she say about Easy Life? Apply with gentle strokes to the shoulders, neckline, and arms to attract good life with health, blessing, abundance, good fortune, happiness, and a comfortable old age. To keep every mouth filled with fortunate happenings, on the first day of the month, dress a green candle with the oil and burn for 10 minutes. Do this every day for 5 consecutive days. On the 6th day, put 5 drops of the oil on sheets of parchment paper, then it's lit and burned to ashes. Place the ashes in a red flannel bag and carry them on your person for the remainder of the month, anointing the bag every 5th day with 5 drops of Easy Life oil. Okay, so this is something that is supposed to make your life comfortable, especially if you are old, and old people have a lot of trouble. Taking care of old people is not easy, so it's easy for you and for other people. But there are many ways to do that, and every magical tradition that is practical, that is, have their own way of doing so. Now, the Golden Secrets of Mystic Oil does not have recipes in it, but it has the application and usage of a big chunk of condition formulas. So if you meet like a condition formula that you don't know, like Q, or like, a Zorba, or like, and you just want to know what it does, this is a very good book, but it doesn't give you any recipes. She does not give you recipes in the book. I heard that she published another book where she gives those recipes, but I don't have that book. And no, I don't want it online. If I can have a hard copy, that would be great. So, my US friends, my birthday is in June. Anyway, surprisingly enough, Denise Alvarado did not contain that recipe in her book, Hoodoo Voodoo Spellbook. Why? I don't know. She's still alive. We can ask the author why she did not include it. Maybe she does not. Maybe in her specific stream of Hoodoo, they don't use that recipe. Or maybe she has other recipes that are more interesting to her to publish. Or maybe she has a secret recipe that she doesn't want to share. I don't know why she didn't put it in her book. But this recipe does in fact book in the Herman Slater book, The Magical Formulae, and in the Conjure Cookbook by Talia Felix. And she's not she's not as famous as Denise Alvarado and Herman Slater, but I do recommend that you will get her Conjure Cookbook, because even if it's her own versions for those conditioned formulas and those are not the original ones, those are very interesting versions which could be applied and used with. I tried many of them and they work just great, so you can try them. Okay, let's start with the simple one. Easy Life, benzoin, vanilla, bergamot, and tonka bean. When you are tired of working hard for things, use this to make them just happen. Also a stress relieving formula. Okay, so it has the ability of manifesting. Okay, now let's talk about the ingredients for a bit. It has benzoin. Benzoin resin is very, there are different kinds of benzoin actually. There is Sumatra benzoin and there is Siam benzoin. The Siam benzoin is more aristocratic. It's like orange, yellow, and like, you know, and can be quite difficult to have. Burning too much of it smells like burnt plastic, but a little bit it smells like the good labdanum. Vanilla is used to purify, also it's a symbol of wealth. Bergamot, actually bergamot has a very interesting story. You know, probably a lot of you like see like all those magical ingredients. Why is bergamot part of all those money spells? It's just like an orange. Why is it so much about money? Well, the story was that the French originally made this hybrid between a very hardy, flavorous orange. I don't know its name in English, I know its name in Hebrew, and this Asian orange that smells great, and it came the bergamot, but the bergamot didn't taste well, so it didn't make a lot of money, and they sold it to Britain. And in Britain, they used it to flavor some tea, and that's Earl Grey tea. And Earl Grey tea is one of the best sellers around the world. So the people who actually bought this losing endeavor actually made a lot of money out of it in the end. So it's like the smell of growing out of the grassroots into the sun. It's the smell of the American dream. They're making something out of nothing. This is why bergamot is very important for money spells. And the tonka bean. And the tonka bean has coumarin, and coumarin is very useful for controlling spell, for making people do as you please. So it has, like, again, benzoin, and benzoin is very good for day life. Like, you know, when you need incense and it doesn't have to be holy, when it doesn't have to include all the angels and God, when it's just like, okay, local spirits, please take care of my needs, benzoin is the best. It's the best base, in my opinion, for money incense. Then it has bergamot, then it has vanilla, which is very good for wealth because vanilla is expensive, and also good for purifying, like removing blockages very gently. And then the tonka bean makes people do what you want. So this is a very, it's almost a controlling formula. So that's a very good basic formula. So you can get the oils and the herbs, stick them in a bottle, stick some olive oil on it. Olive oil because olives represents victory and represents peace of mind. Let it stand for 3 months, and voila, you have that oil. Or you can get the essential oil of each and every one of those and just, you know, make it immediately and use it. So this is a good version of Easy Life formula. Now, let's go to the more complicated one. Let's go to the Slater one. And this is the formula that they probably sold in their shop, The Magical Child in New York, before it closed. Its heydays were the 80s. Okay, gum mastic, cloves, ginger, lemon, orange peel, and cassia. Now, gum mastic. I will wait for 5 seconds that you will tell me why gum mastic is in this formula, because this is the most interesting ingredient in this formula. Do you know what gum mastic does? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, it's not used for a lot of things, but funnily enough, our friend Scotty, the one that was Wiccan, or at least American style of Wicca, wrote about this in his book, The Cunningham Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, which is, again, I recommend, but does not have any of the dark side stuff. So if you are trying to have a rounded knowledge of herbs and their dark powers, you need to basically get it. You have to get it and get other books with it to help you really recognize the dark aspects of herbs. And it says here, folk name, gum mastic, fastigia gals, masculine sun air, and its powers is psychic powers, manifestation, and lust. Mastic is burned in magical operation wherein manifestation of a spirit is desired. So this is basically like a manifestation ingredient, much like cinnamon, that attracts the spirits. It is also used in incense to aid psychic powers and has long been dissolved and used by last potion by magicians and witches in the Middle East, because mastic resin is a Middle Eastern tree. And it's also a tree that is sacred to the goddess Asherah, And originally, chewing the mastic resin with other flavorings was the original bubble gum. A little history lesson. Add to any incense magic lends potency and power. The problem is that mastic is rare, expensive, and difficult to find. I find it in reasonably priced from Egypt, and I just got mine. This is mastic resin, if you never saw it. It looks like frankincense, but it's much lighter, and it reminds, it's like a sweeter version of white copal, if you would like to imagine it. No, I don't think you can replace it with white copal. White copal is too judgy, godly, sacrificey. It's not happy, in a sense, enough for this mixture. Okay, cloves. Cloves are used in the African diaspora to basically sweeten situation. It's a natural sweet herb. It can help to alleviate pain. Like if you have a toothache, you bite on some cloves. It makes stuff sweeter, runs smoother. It also has ginger. Ginger is a herb. Let's see what ginger does. But this time let's read from Hoodoo Herb and Root Magic. It's probably used for general luck, but it also helps in digestion. Ginger. Okay, gives a fiery form of protection and heats up love and money spells. For protection, to heat up a love spell, to get a new club, restaurant, dance hall, or house of prostitution off to a good start, a health gambling hand. Also, it has lemon and orange peel. Lemon and orange peel are usually connected to things that are like happiness, exoticness. Again, the Middle East. Oh, why does it have a Middle Eastern incense that is not like, mere frankincense? Because probably the gum resin is like an addendum that came from either Greek or it came from Jewish people that knew its usage, and this is their little herbal contribution to Hoodoo. Lemon purifies, orange brings luck and love. Both of them are used to make pomander that are very aristocratic, that you put them to your nose so you won't smell the evil smell of this the peasants. So it's like something that represents wealth. And also, in olden times, orange and lemons were considered a mark of being wealthy. And the cassia is used to cause diarrhea, meaning taking the bad stuff and basically smooth them out. It's a banishing herb for bad things. It's also called senna. Some places it's illegal to sell because it's addictive, and after you start using it to cause yourself diarrhea, yes, you will lose weight, but it also in big amount ruins your intestines, and then you cannot take a poop without it. Senna has a reputation as a lover, but is rarely used alone. To attract somebody who is unaware of your interest, to keep your lover faithful. Yeah, because of its addictive qualities. So here it's a less controlling thing, but it's more like a full condition situation that would allow one to manifest through the gum mastic, and nobody would blame you if you add some to the jar itself, some quartz or some citrines, cloves, ginger, lemon, orange peel, and cassia, which just gives it this happy, warm, comfortable glow. So please tell me in the comments below, would you ever consider using this formula? How would you use it if you use it? Is the world ready for this formula to come back, or is it one of those formula that is doomed to be forgotten? One of the ways that I like to use this formula basically is I like to buy a very nice spiderwort in a nice clay planter, and I like to anoint the planter with this oil, or basically put the herbs in a little capsule box and bury it in the ground of that planter and give it to someone, because spiderwort is one of those things that helps life to become easy and relaxed. That's my special twist on this. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope that you will research your own condition formulas in the future. Goodbye, Nashe.